Hey, this is Kamori, and today we're going to be making a cute Halloween-themed petticoat to go underneath Rumi's skirt. So I started by cutting a length of black lining fabric on the fold, and this is going to be the top tier of the petticoat. So what we're going to do is, because this material frays so easily, we are going to do a French seam on the sides. So I'm going to start by sewing the two pieces together along the side. After sewing the seam, then I trimmed off the excess fabric. Fold the fabric back over so that the raw edge is on the inside and pin in place. Now what we're going to do is sew along this area again to completely enclose the raw edge in the fabric. This is also known as a French seam. Repeat this step until you have 3 tubes of different lengths. Take the bottom tier of the skirt, so the largest rectangle, and do a rolled hem along one side. Gather the rectangles and attach them to each other with the smallest rectangle on top and the largest rectangle on the bottom. Then zigzag along any raw edges to keep them from fraying. To add some more floof to the petticoat, I have some black tulle and then I have some orange tulle. And what I'm doing is cutting a piece of it on the fold, so the fold is right here, and then sewing the sides together to keep everything in place on either side. Next, I cut a rectangle out of the black fabric that I used for the other part of the petticoat. And then I repeated the same step that we just did to make another rectangle out of black tulle, and then I sewed the black rectangle to the orange rectangle, and then I hand gathered and hand basted the orange portion onto the fabric rectangle. And I'm going to keep repeating this process and doing it down the line. I will be sewing another orange tulle rectangle onto the black tulle rectangle, gathering the black tulle, attaching it to the black fabric, and this is just so I don't end up with a huge piece of tulle that's going to be unwieldy. This is just to break it down into steps to make it easier so I don't end up getting tulle everywhere and having to gather an enormous piece of tulle. After all the panels have been attached, zigzag to keep the end from fraying and to further connect the tulle onto the black fabric. Next, I added another layer of stitching underneath the zigzag stitch just to secure everything a little bit more than just hand stitching. Next, put right sides together and sew the petticoat together along the open side and zigzag along the fabric part to keep it from fraying. Insert the slit portion into the tulle portion of the petticoat and sew them together along the top. Cut a rectangle to make the waistband, and then fold it in half, and we're going to sew the two ends together, a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, leaving a space open so we can insert the elastic later. Then fold it in half and sew along the edge. Next, put right sides together and sew the waistband onto the top of the petticoat. Then zigzag around the edge to hold everything together for a little bit more security and to keep the edges from fraying. Then cut a piece of elastic the length you want and thread it through the top of your waistband. Once you've pulled the elastic all the way through the waistband, take the two ends and sew them together. And with that, the petticoat is done. For more cosplay tutorials, please subscribe, and as always, if you have any suggestions for any characters you'd like to see me make a tutorial for, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you!